fourth presentation for the Quantum Education Group's IELTS project. My name is Toby. I'm a language tutor here in Auckland, New Zealand, and today I'm going to talk to you about 9 websites that I use for my IELTS classes. The first site I use is the IELTS official IELTS page. This has great resources for teachers. It also is a great place to get an overview of the exam itself. This IELTS guide, it's a PDF, gives a good overview of the test, what you can expect, and the kind of basic knowledge you need to have to be a competent teacher. If we click here on the resources, we've got a huge amount of resources here that are available for teachers to download and use in class. What we do is choose the exam, IELTS, here we go, and search. You can choose by skill as well, but if here we're just going to print out, download all of them, and you've got everything, all skills here. We've got reading, speaking, writing 1, writing 2, reading tasks, all the different types here, all very relevant, very useful exercises. So I'd recommend those. The next site I'd like to talk to you about is this site here called One Stop English. It is free, but you can log in and become a member and have more resources available to you. I'm not a member, but there's lots that I can find. If we look, for example, on the exam page here, let's go back there. So we've got IELTS here. We've got lots of different exercises here that are all available for free. Let's look at writing. So here we have example exercises for writing 1, 2, 3. Now this symbol here indicates that it's only available to those who have paid, are members of One Stop English. So there's a lot that isn't available to you, but there's also a fair amount that is. I'm aware that some schools join One Stop English to enable a lot of resources to be made available to them. But if you're not willing to go that way, that's absolutely fine. I understand that. But there's stuff that's available to you. Here, for example, describing maps. If we look at the skills section, I personally like using some of these as well. These live from authentic interviews are quite challenging audios for students to listen to. Those students you have who are hoping to get a band 6 or above, we need to be familiar with this kind of dialogue. Lots of it has a London kind of based theme, but again, lots of these are also available to users only. These topic-based lesson plans are reading based, and these are free, and these are based on all sorts of topics. Banking, bridges, birdsong, cats, cheating, coffee, chocolate, which, anything can come up in the IELTS exam, so any kind of familiarity with these kind of topics is great. Good way of boosting vocabulary as well. So yeah, One Stop English is a good site, and if you're willing to go that step further, I'm sure if you could persuade your manager to make you a member, that could be money well spent. The next I'd like to talk to you about is Global. Now Global is a course book series made by Macmillan English. This is their website. It's a great book, and if you want to try it, you can try Global. Choose your level. Let's go for intermediate, and you can download a sample unit from the book. This might take a while to load up, but it's incredibly useful, very good course book, very interesting, relevant pages and exercises. They also come with audio, and it's a good taste of what you could be in for if you were to go that step further and buy the book. This is going to take a while to load up, so we'll skip this, but I recommend it. And the Global Macmillan site also has a range of e-lessons. They've got quite a library here, 96 lessons on modern topics. For example, here, recycling and upcycling. You can go back to, for example, December 2011, giving, lots of these topics that come up in speaking, writing tests, and it's the kind of vocabulary as well they should be familiar with in the reading exam and listening. They also have these critical eye lessons, which are speaking based and fun to use in class. Like for example here, it's basically a lesson based on a single image, and basically here for increasing spoken fluency and vocabulary. Let's see the one pop up here. If you ever visit New Zealand, you'll discover why these take a while to load up. Here we go. So you get students giving an image, for example here, and they're giving a series of questions to discuss, and they produce useful, interesting dialogue. I recommend those. We also have infographics, which are also lessons to base images to base a lesson on, based on the current trend of infographics. These are nice too. And good for increasing confidence in speaking, vocabulary, spoken fluency, and also get students talking about topics that are kind of current and meaningful. Here we go. Same series of questions based on, for example, the following infographic. Also quite good to get students looking at these kind of images and thinking about them, thinking about the writing part one. If students aren't so used to looking at images and talking about them, it'll disadvantage them. And yeah, if we just go back to the archive, these lessons, excuse me, these lessons are based on texts. You can see they upload much more quickly, and it's a text, kind of text you might see in an IELTS test, a little bit shorter, for lots of vocabulary. It's a full lesson. It could also be used for self-study. They do come with discussion questions as well, and some good vocabulary there. So I recommend that one. It's a good website. Next I'd like to show you is the site here called Film English. Now this is a site that I think is quite wonderful. Basically the designer here, Kieran Donaghy, has basically found these short videos on the internet, on Vimeo.com or YouTube, and it's based lesson plans around them with a link to the video. If you have these resources in your school, they're really good to use, and they have a complete lesson plan, okay, which you could also print off as well. Easy to follow steps. Okay. Most of the videos have minimal dialogue. The purpose exists to encourage discussion, encourage sharing of ideas. So it's good for a spoken fluency, particularly. Lots of the lessons finish with a writing task, for example, writing a narrative here, which is again good practice of grammar. The writing task could be adapted to suit an IELTS part 2. But I find these lessons extremely enjoyable, and they offer something different that most course books don't offer. And if you want to add a little bit of interest in your lessons, I recommend these highly. Now, I couldn't talk about websites without talking about YouTube. YouTube has lots on it, obviously, but what I've found particularly useful is if you just go to the search bar and type in IELTS speaking test, and you get a list of here, samples. Okay. Now, these are, well, some of these are released by University of Cambridge, and they are accurate examples of what students need to produce here. This one is an authentic one. This is an authentic one. You'll see which ones are the authentic or not, often because they're all done in the same room. If you have any issues, just please feel free to get in touch with the school and we'll make it clear to you. So here is an authentic IELTS speaking 7. So students who are looking to get to Japan would benefit highly from watching this, seeing how students extend their answers, the kind of vocabulary and grammar they use, the strategies they use. Highly recommended. Let's go for example a 6. Oh, so that's again, authentic here, authentic here. Okay, really useful to watch. Really useful to watch. And I recommend as teachers you analyze them, get the students to talk about what they did well, what they could improve upon. And I find it's also quite useful if as a teacher you watch it beforehand, maybe give the students the same questions to talk about, and then watch this candidate answering the same questions and seeing that they got a 5.5, for example, here. Why did they get that? What could your students do better to get such a grade? Bit of reflection there. And I recommend that. I think also students find it extremely valuable. Next I'd like to tell you about is this one here, LLO. Okay, look on the home page. What these are listening exercises for all sorts of levels. We've got audio lessons, clicking on views, which are native speakers here from Australia and America, talking about being a digital nomad. So quite current topics. The lessons also come up with little vocabulary exercises students can use by themselves, or you alternatively could use the video in class or the audio in class. There's also a transcript as well. There's a vocabulary quiz and a comprehension quiz as well. If we go back to here, if we click on the videos, we get monologues of people talking about topics that are similar in some ways to the IELTS test. Have you ever been embarrassed? We've got 2 people here talking about that. What's a good place for traveling in your country? People talking about that. For example, here, again, these also come with the transcript, okay, and a video to watch, making it a little bit more interesting, but do bear in mind that obviously in the listening test, your students will not see the speaker, which can be a little bit distracting. It's an interesting website, and I recommend it again. Well, here we have the website from New Zealand, eslnews.org.nz. What we've got here is a simple audio file of something newsworthy that has happened in New Zealand over the past week. For example, here we've got Conservation Week, we've got recent news, fashion, all sorts of things. Here goes back, we can browse by category. So it's basically, here we have a 3-minute audio, which you can download and play in class. There's a transcript, there's vocabulary. Personally, what I do with this is I often get the students to listen to it for just general ideas, then I will ask some comprehension questions and play it again. There is no lesson plan, so you have to think about those yourself. And sometimes I'll often focus on a paragraph that might have some interesting vocabulary or grammar, particularly. For example, here, this paragraph here, lots of numbers and descriptions. Okay, what I might do for this is ask students to listen to this paragraph as it's read out, get them to take notes on the main points, not try to write it down word for word, listen to it twice, and then working with another partner, get them to reconstruct the paragraph based on their notes. The students are encouraged therefore to talk about grammar structures, and obviously this is a type of activity known as dictogloss, which is extremely beneficial for encouraging students' grammar uptake. So this is New Zealand. If we go over to America, we've got a VOA, Learning English. If you just Google VOA News, if we go backwards, sorry, if we go to VOA, it's easy to find it, VOA. Voice of America. Up here we have Learning English. So what we have here are lower level, level 1, slightly high level, level 2 lessons based on mainly American or global news events. We also have captioned video, so that's a video with basically with subtitles, and you can choose what you find interesting. We get here on audio, for example, here. You can listen to As It Is, which is a daily news program. What I like about this is that it gives students ideas, contexts of language, and also in their speaking and writing tests it can give them some ideas to use in those tests if it's relevant to them, relevant to the questions. These are audios as well, level 1 English. Some of them come with video. Again, these are also worth watching in class, and they come with the transcript as well, which you might want to give students afterwards. Again, for all these exercises that come with transcripts, I recommend you don't give it to them to read, listen at the same time, because just basically, as human beings, we can't do that. We can't listen and read independently of each other. I think if you give students a text to read, they'll just read it and they will kind of turn off their ears, so to speak. But that's also good. Good to listen to American accents. The language is slowed down, which can increase students' confidence. The other website I'd like to talk about is, coming back over the UK slant, is the British Council's Learn English, BritishCouncil.org site. We have a listen and watch section, which again is really good. I would recommend these elementary podcasts. They are not elementary level. They're quite challenging. And they cover a range of topics and focus on vocabulary too. Also we have this I Want to Talk About, which are monologues, people talking about things, for example, talking about his pride and joy, his lovely son. So this again would be useful, I think, with students thinking about getting ready for the speaking test. The lessons also come with My Two Cats. That looks fantastic. So here we've got preparations, you have tasks if you want students to do this by themselves, pre-teaching vocabulary with the instructions, or you could obviously just use it as a listening exercise in task and in class, and give the students the questions separately. Totally up to you. The final website I'd like to look at is again New Zealand based. It's here, martinmcmorrow.podomatic.com. Martin is, as it says here, is the ESOL Learning Advisor at the Student Learning Centre at Massey University in Auckland, just over the bridge. He has a podcast that you can subscribe to if you have iTunes. So what this basically means is he talks about an academic word, for example here, displacement, and he talks about the usage of such a word and how you can use it in your own writing or speaking. What I also like about this website is it has New Zealand focus, and he also uses often TED Talks, and he picks out a TED Talk from TED.com and has a series of questions related to that. Okay. What's great about these TED Talks, again another one here, Scaffold, the TED Talks are extremely inspiring and can again provide ideas for the students, particularly those who have no ideas, when it comes to the speaking or writing test. You know, how books can open your mind. I'm sure that's worth watching. So I recommend that, worth subscribing to as well, and free, totally free. So today I've introduced 9 websites that I use on and off when needs arise, and I think the key thing is to just look at them yourself, find a way around them, and see what they offer you and your students in particular, and see how you can best exploit them and make use of them. And obviously that's just, just the tip of the iceberg what's on the internet, but those are 9 good ones. There's lots of stuff out there that's not good, but here are 9 good ones. If you have any questions about anything I've said today, please don't hesitate to contact the school. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thanks.